Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. We've got 3 hot stories for you, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the pack. Let's get started. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of last week's Monaco Grand Prix? Did you enjoy the race after the new rule changes that forced teams to make 2 mandatory pit stops? Or do you feel that, even with these changes, the race still lacked excitement and that more significant alterations are necessary to truly transform Monaco into a proper race? One driver who didn't hold back in sharing his opinion was Williams' Carlos Sainz. He was very direct in his criticism of what happened during the Monaco Grand Prix, going as far as to claim that the race was essentially manipulated, whether through car pace or strategic decisions. Sainz pointed out that such tactics would have been severely penalized in the past, as manipulation is strictly forbidden in Formula One. However, according to him, at Monaco everything seems to be allowed, with cars running deliberately slow to help a teammate build a significant gap, pit, and return to the track in the same position. Even Williams employed this exact strategy during the race. Sainz first protected his teammate, Alex Albon, by controlling the pace and allowing Albon to open a comfortable gap. This enabled Albon to pit and rejoin the race without losing position. Later, they switched roles. Albon held up the pack to give Sainz the same advantage, allowing him to pit and also return in the same spot. The reward for this teamwork was significant. Williams scored points with both cars, a crucial achievement for their standing in the championship. Speaking further, Sainz expressed his frustration, stating that this kind of manipulation at Monaco isn't new and, year after year, nothing is done to address it. On the contrary, he believes that the sport continues to introduce more regulations that enable even greater manipulation. Specifically, he criticized the new rule mandating 2 pit stops, asserting that it didn't change anything fundamental about the race. According to Sainz, the event remains as dull as ever, and he left the weekend disappointed, feeling like he spent several days in Monaco without actually participating in a real race. So what's your take? Do you agree with Carlos Sainz that the Monaco Grand Prix was manipulated? Do you believe there's any solution to make the race more competitive and exciting? Or do you think it might be time to remove Monaco from the Formula One calendar altogether? Share your thoughts in the comments below. As always, stay tuned. We'll keep bringing you all the latest updates and discussions from the world of Formula One, covering every controversial moment and every thrilling victory throughout the 2025 season. Hello, my friends. Here's a quick but important update from the ever-dynamic world of Formula One, where the landscape might be heading towards some major changes soon. To ensure you don't miss anything, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. We bring you direct, no-nonsense updates every day. According to a report from the reputable German newspaper Bild, there's a significant development brewing behind the scenes. Christian Horner, the current team principal of Red Bull Racing, has reportedly been approached by Ferrari. The information suggests that the Ferrari leadership has grown increasingly dissatisfied with the performance and management of their current team principal, Frederic Vasseur, particularly due to the lackluster results in the opening races of this season. As the report outlines, Ferrari is actively exploring options beyond their existing setup should Vasseur fail to deliver the expected improvements in the near future. In that context, Horner, one of the most successful and longest-serving team principals in Formula One, naturally emerged as a prime candidate on Ferrari's radar. The rumor mill doesn't stop there. Bild claims that during informal conversations, Horner expressed his current commitment to Red Bull, emphasizing that he does not foresee himself leaving the team anytime soon. He reportedly underscored his long-term vision for Red Bull, particularly focusing on preparing for the sweeping regulatory changes coming in 2026. These include the introduction of new power unit regulations and the much-anticipated partnership with Ford, which will mark a new era for Red Bull Racing as both a chassis and engine manufacturer. However, as all seasoned Formula One fans know, this sport is famously unpredictable. Allegiances shift, opportunities emerge unexpectedly, and what may seem improbable today can quickly become reality tomorrow. The dynamics at Red Bull have been anything but stable recently, with internal tensions linked to performance inconsistencies, the departure of Adrian Newey, and uncertainties about Max Verstappen's long-term future at the team. Ferrari's interest in Horner is, therefore, not entirely surprising. With Red Bull navigating through a period of transition and Ferrari seeking to reignite their championship ambitions after years of falling short, the allure of a seasoned leader like Horner could be tempting for both parties, even if public denials are in place for now. At the same time, it is important to recognize that Christian Horner's identity is deeply intertwined with Red Bull Racing. He has been at the helm since the team's inception in 2005, overseeing their meteoric rise to multiple constructors and drivers' championships. His strategic vision, leadership style, and ability to manage both engineering innovation and complex driver dynamics have been essential to Red Bull's sustained success. Would he really consider abandoning all of that to take on the immense challenge of leading Ferrari, a team with notoriously complex internal politics and intense media scrutiny? Or is this just another episode of Formula One's perennial game of high-stakes poker, with teams probing for weaknesses and individuals quietly weighing their options? So, with all these factors in play, what do you think? Could Christian Horner truly leave Red Bull in the near future and choose to lead Ferrari? Or will this Italian interest ultimately come to nothing, leaving Horner to continue his long-term project with Red Bull as they prepare for the next era of Formula One? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll be following this story closely and, as always, bringing you the latest developments right here. Stay tuned. In recent months, the Red Bull team has been living in a state of uncertainty regarding whether or not Max Verstappen will remain with them. Reports have suggested that the reigning champion was waiting for the significant update plan for the Imola Grand Prix before deciding whether to stay with Red Bull or seek a new team for the 2026 season. Verstappen's concern stems from his growing lack of confidence in Red Bull's current engineering team. Without Adrian Newey, who Verstappen considered Red Bull's key differentiator for years, he questions whether the team can continue producing competitive cars in the future. The much-anticipated Imola update brought some improvements, but it ultimately fell short of fully resolving the issues with the RB21. As a result, the uncertainty remains. Will Verstappen continue with Red Bull, or will he begin negotiations with rival teams? Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Will Verstappen stay, or is it time for him to move on? One of the most significant statements on this topic came over the weekend from Helmut Marko, Red Bull's influential advisor, and one of the people responsible for making key decisions regarding driver contracts. Marko first reminded everyone that Verstappen is under contract with Red Bull through 2028, a fact widely known in the paddock. However, he also acknowledged that Verstappen's contract includes performance-related clauses. Essentially, if the car doesn't meet certain competitive benchmarks, Verstappen has the option to break the contract and move to another team without facing any financial penalties. Discussing his perspective on the situation, Marko admitted that Red Bull needed to bring more performance gains with their latest update. Since they didn't fully deliver on that, he believes that the decision about the future now rests entirely with Verstappen. Furthermore, Marko confirmed that there are no major updates scheduled for the upcoming races that could significantly transform the car's competitiveness. Despite the precarious situation, Marko expressed confidence that Verstappen might still decide to stay with Red Bull. However, he emphasized that the team must demonstrate, in the next few races, that they can deliver a car capable of fighting for championships, even if it's not as dominant as it was in previous seasons. The team understands that they need to convince Verstappen that they remain a top contender, otherwise, they risk losing their star driver. This ongoing indecision has left Red Bull and its fans in suspense. Verstappen is known for keeping his cards close to his chest, and there are rumors suggesting that even if he does start negotiating with other teams, he would not announce any decision until the end of the season. That strategy would maximize his leverage while keeping Red Bull under pressure to make rapid improvements. So, we'll have to keep a close watch on how this situation develops over the coming months. Any news regarding Verstappen's future will undoubtedly shake up the entire Formula One paddock and potentially reshape the driver market for 2026 and beyond. What about you? After these recent statements, do you believe that Red Bull is already bracing for Verstappen's possible departure? Or are you confident that Verstappen will ultimately choose to stay and continue his journey with Red Bull in 2026? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. As always, we'll be keeping you updated with every new development right here. Stay tuned for more exclusive insights and news from the world of Formula One.